was a learning curve for everyone. Patience was a must. Laughter is something that you had to have. Perseverance and flexibility. And that was all on my part, not the kids. But in all seriousness, the kids probably were more resilient than the adults that were giving the instruction at times. And they would really help you kind of laugh through it. They would help you problem solve. They were really kind about it and patient.
So the lessons that I learned was that like whenever we were like online, half of like the things that we would do were like very hard. Like whenever we would glitch, we would always have to hop off. But then like towards like the end of virtual, we learned how to fix those.
So for virtual, at the beginning of the year, I learned how to add files to my computer and how to export them to different devices, for example, like AirDrop. And I also learned that I shouldn't procrastinate as long as I did before. When I came into hybrid, I got welcomed by a lot of students, and so I made a lot of new friends that way. And when the school changed to all 5 days, it was amazing to see everyone because I made even more friends here. And all the teachers were welcoming everyone, and it was just amazing to be here and learn everything.
We had kids that were full virtual. I had some students that were hybrid, and then I also had some students that were in person. I think that was the hardest thing with this whole pandemic, was the fact that kids weren't getting the socialization that they needed. So I tried to make sure that we incorporated that in through games. We decided to do tic-tac-toe Wednesday in our math class. They had to work through upper level multi-step math problems, but they had to collaborate with each other, whether they were virtual or in the classroom, and come up with the right answer so that they could win a spot to move on the tic-tac-toe board. The pandemic was very stressful and difficult for a lot of people. I think for our population, they grew as individuals, as independent learners.
The return this school year, beginning with the hybrid model and then 5 days in person in the physical building, has been amazing, and has taught me a lot of things. It's taught me that students, especially even 5 and 6-year-olds, are resilient. The second thing it has taught me is they just want to be in school. The third thing it has taught me is that teachers are willing to do anything to make sure that their students are successful. So that has been the blessing that I've seen this school year, that people go above and beyond to do what's right for each other and for our stakeholders.
So the whole experience really did push us into new areas we didn't really expect. If teachers were not really strong users of the learning management system, all of a sudden they had this robust presence online that they then leveraged for instructional practices. They were able to connect students in ways they'd never connected before. They were able to tap into their content areas in ways they've never tapped into before. So that was the biggest surprise for me. One of the other things I think that came, a really good lesson that came out of the experience, was just from the perspective of the students. I think the students really learned how flexible they could be. And at the secondary level, it almost became like students became collegiate, almost like they were college students, and they were able to make use of technology and adjust to the different changes in environments, and be able to learn at home on their own, basically tapping into this their own intrinsic motivation much more than they were able to before.